Hello, and welcome back to the Games Embassy with some of the ambassadors of gaming. I'm one of your army of hosts, Ambassador Michael,
What's up, guys? I'm Ambassador Jason.
and we would like to welcome you back to our corner of the internet where we have news about stuff. Jason, we've had quite a lengthy conversation before the show, but for everyone else, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a great weekend. Looking forward to the summer,
Right,
and playing lots of video games as always.
as we do here at the Ambassadors Gaming. It'd be kind of sad. It's kind of sad when we don't play games. Well, we're just like, yeah, I've
Yes,
just been so busy with my life. I haven't played a
those
single
aren't the
video
good
game.
days.
Right. So we have a show to do. But if you are unaware, for the uninitiated, we have a Patreon that basically is the lifeblood of the show because we don't do ads, we don't have sponsorships, anything like that as of the time of speaking. So everything is funded through the Patreon, where you get cool stuff. We have early access to our one of our other podcasts, Group Chat, which is a more topical based type of thing, if that's your kind of cup of tea. We also have exclusives over there if you would like to get in on that. Adam does an op-ed for you once a month that only you will get to see for a very long time. We just released his Resident Evil 4 video, which people were not too happy about. So if I don't think you had seen it, but basically his first video was a topic he discussed with me a long time about how he thinks Resident Evil 4 is the game that derailed the series. And even though 5 and 6 are generally panned as bad games, 4 is the one to blame for that. So that was an interesting reaction. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you check it out. He put a lot of hard work into it. I did too, because I do all the fun editing stuff on that. But that's where you can get all that kind of stuff, is on the Patreon. We actually simplified it as well. Instead of doing like 4 billion tiers, we just have 2 tiers now. So, like, it's just, yeah, Patreon's difficult, and like, it's complicated for a lot of people, and we're like, let's just make this easy on you. So, easy on you, easy on us. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's our spiel. So we can actually get into the news.
Yes, definitely. Yakuza,
Yakuza.
like a dragon. Yakuza, sorry,
It's
like a
all good.
dragon will lock New Game Plus and high difficulty behind DLC. Previously, the series has allowed players included with the game to jump right back into the action with New Game Plus. Now it has been removed and will instead be sold as separate DLC, causing friction with the game's audience. The game's shift to be more of a turn-based RPG makes this a bit more of a sting. Sega has yet to announce the release date and price for the pack, if it will also be something we see with its Western release later this year.
Yeah, this was a weird one.
That's yeah. I haven't played that game,
Yeah.
so I don't have much to say on it.
Fair enough. The other Yakuza games are very PS2 like, where you're just like you're running around in a small area in Japan. You have a very small map, and you're just running around doing like little side quests, and it's very action oriented. But this one's a turn-based RPG.
Yeah,
So like that kind of caused some friction with their audience to begin with. And then this was just like a weird thing. Like, why would you do this? Like,
I don't know.
it's rough, dude. Cause like I don't know. Over the years, we've kind of settled more into like, no, developers aren't removing stuff to sell it to us. Like we've kind of like let that be like a normal thing that we kind of try to talk about. But now it just
Yeah,
seems like this is like obviously that's what they did. But like if they came out and were like, hey, like we have to rebalance the whole game for New Game Plus, then I could understand why. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's a
Uh-huh.
different story. But instead they don't say anything, and they're just like, no, give us money. So like I don't know. I have a hard time understanding why you can't just be clear with your audience about things
Well, usually when you can't be clear, it's because it's benefiting you and
and
screwing
not
over your
them.
audience. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's a bit rough. Do the right thing,
unfortunately.
Sega. At least just tell us why. We want more money.
Yeah,
I would even accept that. I mean, we could then have a conversation about it, but like, you know. Anyways, we can move on to the announcements and release dates. So, a new DJ inspired game is coming from the Rock Band developer Harmonix. The game will contain over 100 popular songs and will release in fall 2020. I'm not really sure what it is. It looks like you're mixing tracks less like a
Yeah,
DJ, but more
it's
like you're
it's
remixing, like you're remixing
yeah, it's
tracks.
kind of
Yeah,
like your Skrillex,
yeah, it's
and you're
super
just
weird.
taking songs and mixing them together. It looks nice. I saw the trailer, um,
Yeah, I have
and
it
it
pulled
looked
up
pretty
here,
cool.
so it looks
What was
alright.
what was the name of the game again? Did they?
Fuser, I think, is what they called it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I didn't
Fusion.
write that in there. I probably should have put that in there. But yeah, Fuser. So the focus is on fusing elements of tracks. So I have it pulled up here for those that are watching the video, so you can get a bit of an idea. But there's no real gameplay in it.
And there's no additional like parts needed. Just need the game. That's it. Like
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you
no
have to
additional
buy.
hardware.
Yeah, there's no like DJ turntable you had to buy like with DJ Hero or whatever. So
Which could be fortunate or unfortunate for those that
yeah,
like those things.
right. Well,
So
like clearly it didn't work out for them last time because like Mad Catz went bankrupt after Rock Band 4. So like,
yeah, it's.
eh,
I mean, and it comes down to. I mean, like it wasn't. It was possible when it was there before, but it it comes down to the aspect where you don't have to continue to release new versions of these kinds of games. Like, just add DLC. That's all they have to do. Like with
right,
these sports games, just add DLC with roster changes, with the rock bands and the guitar heroes. Continue selling that
right,
same, device. You don't have to, put money into research and develop to make new ones
right.
or new molds or anything. Just release new songs in DLC form. But with rights and everything, so when it comes to music, the rights
Yeah, it's
always,
expensive
get mixed
now,
up. Yeah, it always
basically.
get mixed up and whatnot. So
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rocksmith I think is the only music-based game that came out this gen that's still live, like in terms of like servers and stuff. I know Guitar Hero Live got shut down. I'm pretty sure
oh my
Rock Band 4
gosh,
got shut down.
I tried Guitar Hero Live. It was just so not Guitar Hero like. It wasn't
Yeah,
arcadey. It was so
modern Activision.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was just like, I miss like the really bad animations and
Right.
graphics and like awesomeness that was there. Like the five people in the crowd,
Right.
like the five same people just mixed amongst each other.
Right. I like that
Like,
about it, that it had that like weird canniness to it, cuz
yeah,
the wife and I had went to Dave and Buster's, and I don't know if you've been in recent years, but they have a Guitar Hero 2 arcade cabinet like in Dave and Buster's. And so we had played it and she was like, "Man, I really miss Guitar Hero. I wish we could play it." And I'm like, "See, there's good news for you. I still own a PS2, so we can."
yeah.
So we went out and we went, shopping at a bunch of retro shops, and we got the guitars and all the games, and I think it was less than like $100 for like,
That's awesome.
yeah, for like 5 games and the 2 controllers. Um, and they're still fun to play. Like the songs
So
still
much
kick
fun.
ass. The way the game plays is still really fun. So
Like
I don't know.
it's
The recipe
it's
for
very
success was there. Rock Band, the first 2 Rock Bands were really good too.
yeah, they were. They just overdid it, man. It's like when they just kept pumping them out like special edition ones, like
Right.
just like single artist ones, and I'm like, it's not
Yeah.
needed. Like you're wasting money.
Pretty much. Like, just give me the greatest hits from the Beatles. I don't need the whole Beatles catalog. Like,
Yeah, it was like this one's just
yeah.
this band, and I'm over here like I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care about the whole. I mean, it's nice for like the hardcore fans of those bands or whatever, but that's such a
Yeah.
niche like thing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and that could have very easily been a DLC pack.
yeah,
$5.99, get 15 songs from this particular person to play.
right. I think their big issue now is that the music industry's changed so much that they rewrite their contracts to be a lot better in terms of licensing.
Yeah.
So they just
hmm
they're more expensive now, and they just don't want to pay that out. I think that's ultimately what killed Guitar Hero, because
Yeah.
Activision's cheap like that
But like, think about it. They could have partnered up with like Spotify
or something.
or
Yeah,
like even iTunes. Like, imagine that. Imagine if they would have partnered with iTunes.
right. That would have been a good
That
idea.
would have been yeah. Well, I mean Apple. I keep saying iTunes.
Yeah,
They would have partnered with Apple. That could have worked. I mean, Apple does want some money,
right.
so but it would have taken away, like you'd use all the music from Apple Music already there. So I don't think any additional, fees would have to be like introduced. Like if people are playing those songs. You
Right.
know, I
Yeah,
don't know.
they could have done it in a way where they partner with somebody or did some agreements. You
Like
know.
your music subscription just gets tied to that. Like that's all you have to do is like they can partner with both Spotify, Apple, and
Yeah.
Google, and then you just sign in with your associated account,
Right.
and then boom, you just play because it's still like listening to the song. It
Right.
doesn't like there's no difference in listening to it from your TV while playing,
Right. Right.
notes to it than listening to it in your on your phone.
Exactly. So
So
it, I, I'm sure there's a legal way you could make it happen. You know, but
yeah,
Activision's not very intent on doing partnerships where they're paying out.
of course
So
not.
that
They
seems,
barely
yeah,
they barely pay out.
that's what I'm saying. Like they got, what did they made like an absurd amount of money from YouTube recently. It was like hundreds of millions of dollars they just made from YouTube because they just
Oh yeah,
signed
yeah,
an
because
agreement.
they just said, we're just gonna put all our esports stuff on
Yep,
YouTube,
that's what it
not
was.
Twitch.
Yeah.
And they have exclusive rights to the Overwatch League
Yep.
and
And Call of Duty
Call of
Mobile.
Duty,
Yep.
which is weird because Twitch had so much stuff going with the Overwatch League.
Right.
And I like YouTube to like watch videos. I don't like YouTube to watch gaming for
Yeah.
some reason. It's just
Streaming on YouTube sucks.
it's not like Twitch. Like Twitch is made for that.
Right.
Like, now they're just taking
Feels
YouTube and just
tacked
adding
on.
things to it. Yeah, it's tacked
Yep.
on.
For sure.
But they made tons of money. I mean, Google has the money for it, so.
Right. So it is what it is, I guess. But at the same
Before you go into the next one,
yeah, go for it.
I don't know how you don't have this yet. I'm gonna insert one. Okay. Did
Yeah,
you
go for
not see the Samurai Jack Battle Through Time
Oh,
announcement?
I did, but I forgot to pull it. I did.
All right, I have something here.
I want to
So,
see it. Yeah, please.
from Nerdist.com, they announced Adult Swim Games has announced Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. It's coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch this summer. So it's going to take place in the era before Jack's final battle with the evil deity Aku. The same monstrous being that was in the animated series.
Show, yeah.
So it looks like an action RPG, and it looks really good.
Yeah, the gameplay looks pretty good. I have a little bit. I don't really like the art style too much.
Yeah, it doesn't. It could have been a little bit flatter, a
Right.
little bit like 2.5D as opposed to complete 3D.
Oh, I know what it is that's triggering me about it. It reminds me of the Nickelodeon kart racer. That's what it reminds me of, and that's really bad. Like, yeah, Jordan gave me a code for it because he had an extra one or whatever.
Yeah,
And it's so bad. It wants to be Mario Kart, but it just sucks. Like,
yeah.
so I think that's why I'm like, I have my concerns about this game. It reminds me of that.
Let's hope it plays well because Samurai
so.
Jack. Oh my god, man, that show as a kid, that was a great show.
Right. I haven't revisited it in a long time, but
Neither have I. It's been such a. I want to go in order. Like every time I watch it, I watch it out of order. Just it happened to be on TV.
Right. Exactly.
I would love to go back, find out where it's at, and just power through it.
Right, because I remember the art style, and I specifically remember him and the main antagonist, but I don't remember much about the show, so I'd have to actually go back and watch it.
Yeah.
But that was a good call. Yeah, because who is it owned by? It's owned by Adult Swim. Like they own Samurai Jack. Is that who owns it now?
Yeah. Well, it was created by Adult Swim Games.
Okay.
And developer Soli Games.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily say who owns the rights to Samurai Jack.
Yeah, because
it might be Adult Swim because it was, even though it was like a kind of kids show.
Yeah.
It was kind of up there with like.
I remember it being on at this around the same time frame of like Dragon Ball and Naruto, though.
Yeah, like Toonami kind of.
Yeah, Toonami, yeah.
Let me see. It says for Cartoon Network, so I guess Cartoon Network just owns.
Yeah, they probably just own it. Yeah, that's what it looks like for Cartoon Network. Yeah.
Adult Swim and Cartoon Network is what they're saying. So
yeah, production company Cartoon Network. Yeah.
For a game that has come out of nowhere and it hasn't aired in what? Forever, yeah. It's crazy.
They revived it in 2017 to do, I think, the last season or whatever, the 5th season.
It's still 3 years ago.
Yeah, but like it originally ran from 2001 to 2004, so like it's been dormant for quite a long time.
Oh yeah,
But anyways, yeah, good call on that one. I'd be interested to see how that pans out for sure. 'Cause like I
it's
said,
not
the
that
art
far away.
style is pretty weird for
It's
me.
like four months away.
Right, I'd rather a game just be announced and come out. Honestly,
Oh yeah.
like 3 to 4 months is a pretty good time span for me. But I tend to
Hmm.
be seeing that more with games and music. Like I tend to follow the business side of games, pretty intently for the podcast, obviously, but music as well. And one of the big things with music now is that they don't announce albums, like until like 2 months before the release. Like,
Not even
or
sometimes. I mean,
sometimes they just
like,
drop them. Like if you're big enough, you could just drop an album.
yeah, yeah.
Like Beyonce and Eminem, they could just drop albums. You know what I mean? And like need no promotion. Um,
Yeah.
so I prefer a shorter time span of just being like, okay, like here's this thing, it'll be out soon. You know,
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to sit here and dwell on it. Like, let's
like
see, the Diablo, the mobile game
yeah,
that
that
still isn't out.
I forgot. I always forget that it's still not out, and then I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna make their community so upset when it actually does come out.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
I'm trying to
forgot.
give it a chance. I'm trying to play it to see if it's even good. And
Right.
then why'd you even announce it? Why'd you make that BlizzCon such a hellish BlizzCon when it wasn't even ready?
Yeah, and that was before. That was not last year, but the year before. That was before the Bloodstream
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here waiting for League of Legends mobile, and it's like the news on that game is dead since what, January? It
Yeah.
was announced, or December, something like
Yeah.
that.
Riot makes that game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They've been having a lot of problems. We've discussed it a bit, and we've gone over it a handful of times. But like they had that lawsuit or whatever, and
Yep. Oh
basically
gosh.
they were like, "Oh, we'll put out whatever 10 million, I guess, for like the settlement for like the total lawsuit," and the
Yeah.
judge. So like both parties agreed or whatever, and then the judge denied it, and now they're saying they need to pay like 100,000 or something like, or 100 million or whatever, like a crazy amount of money. So like that's
They have the
probably
money.
yeah, they got the money, like don't no doubt, but at the same point that's probably like why we're not hearing a lot of stuff from them. Is probably because they're all stuck up and all that. That and I guess
Yep.
they have beef with the publisher, right? Like Tencent owns them, right? But
Yeah.
they still
Tencent
like fight
owns
with each other.
everyone.
Yeah,
Do
Tencent's
they fight
weird.
with each other? I don't
That's
know.
that's what I had heard because I think you were the one that was telling me they made that Tencent wanted them to make a mobile league, and they were like, "No, we
Oh
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
do that."
That's before. Yeah, yeah. They wanted to make a mobile League of Legends, and Riot was like, we don't want to do that. And then they went around and made
Did it
Arena of
anyways.
Valor, and that's just not doing well in North America. It does
Right,
well in Southeast Asia and
the Asian
everything.
markets, yeah.
And that's so with mobile League of Legends, it could particularly do well in North America.
Right,
Um,
the branding.
but it all depends. Like the thing is, like I play Mobile Legends. I played Arena of Valor. I love MOBA games,
Right,
like League of Legends, Dota 2, and all that. I don't love being tied to my hour playing League of Legends, or even
right,
45 minutes.
right,
And for what I'm seeing with the mobile League of Legends, they did say the time for the matches did go down
right,
to like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, but a lot of the same like map objectives are still there. So I don't know. Like I haven't played the game. We'll have to see
right.
when it comes out, like how long those games are. Um, but I'm hoping it's good. I'm definitely hoping it's good.
Yeah, I don't think they want to put something out that's bad. I like I said, my theory is just that well, one
Especially the
Tencent.
first mobile game. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And Tencent has so many investments like throughout the industry that like they're not hurting right now.
Oh, I know. I
You
think
know?
I've listed them at one point on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh, it's crazy.
yeah, Tencent is insane. So but like they got capital and they're spending money, so I mean, what are you gonna do about it, I guess. Um
Yep.
anyways, we can move on to the another new Pokemon like game because I forgot that there were two currently. There's this one and then there was Temtem you reminded me
10-10.
of. This
Yes.
is not Temtem, it's the other one. uh, Kindred Fates will make its way to Steam and Switch. I actually found this through I think a Kotaku article that was highlighting it. So like, there's no actual new news on this. It just finally started getting spotlight. You know what I mean? So
Yo, they were only asking for 50,000
yeah,
on Kickstarter, and they're at like
six
um
hundred and eighty-five thousand.
yeah, six hundred eighty-five
Like
thousand, and that's
way more.
between 10,000, almost 11,000 backers.
Right. So like
That's a lot of money.
if we do the math, the average donation is going to be insane. Or the
Yeah, we're dividing, right? Yeah, yeah. But this, I mean, what they're trying to include in this stuff in this game, yeah, and I'm hoping it works out well because I would love to play it. Like, I don't want, I don't know. When I think, yeah, what kind of brings it up to me is like Little Town Hero. Was that the name of the game from Game Freak? Like they announced that, and I'm over here like, this is gonna be a great RPG game. Like I can't wait. And then like when it came out, it was so small and so limited, and I'm over here like, what? Like I really wanted to play this game. I was about to go all in on it. The battle system was garbage for me. I want to say like I just had no interest in it. And then like it was so small. Well, I like card-based games, but it was so weird though. It was like it was yeah, and I was yeah, yep, yeah. It's so I just don't want it to be like one of those scenarios because I was so psyched for Little Town Hero. I was like, this game's gonna be so cool. It's from Game Freak. How do you ruin it? By doing things like that. What was it even rewarding at the end? Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, because and I'm sure it is because it didn't sell as well. I'm assuming it didn't sell as well as they expected to. So they need to like bring it out to other places and try to get some money off the work they did. I'm not saying they don't deserve that. I'm just when they went the route they went, they shouldn't expect it to like take off. It was very niche with the way the game style was, and uh, yeah, yeah, and I don't want to. I don't want to go into Pokemon. No. I was just saying, like the Pokemon DLC they announced. Because I don't. Have we talked about that? What do you?
yeah, I muted my mic. on the
Oh,
recording.
okay.
My bad. I was like, people are not gonna hear me, and I have no idea how long it's been since I muted myself.
Oh man.
So hopefully it's not been too long. Uh, but you're not really missing much. We were just talking shit about Little Town here. But anyways, yeah, we haven't talked DLC. Me and Chris did, and we both came away. This was before I had started playing Sword or Shield. I recently bought it, and I've been playing
Okay.
through it like, you know, pretty recently, and I'm like, this is okay. Like, it's fine. But like the DLC seems like I don't know how to describe it. It reminds me a lot of Fire Red and Leaf Green, but like stuff that was
Yeah.
already in the game. Like that, I don't know. It just and then adding Pokemon in it kind of seems like okay, like clearly we like upset you guys. We'll try to like make it up to you, I guess. Like that's just kind of how the whole thing felt to me, I guess.
Um, it's I like the idea of adding DLC to Pokemon because it adds, more
Life,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, more life to the game where you don't have to recreate everything.
sure,
But I feel like as early as it's coming in less than a year
right,
for both, I feel like this was already there.
right, or they had at least
Um,
started it making
yeah,
it.
and I've always spoken about how I love DLC when it's real DLC. Like
Right,
game's been out for at least a year and a half. Here's some extra stuff you can do in the game. We
right,
started creating this stuff after the game was already shipped.
right,
I don't like DLC that was created during the time the game was still being created. Like, no,
right. It kind of
not at
does
all.
feel that way.
Um, and I do like how you don't have to buy the DLC to add those Pokemon. Like if you have them in previous games, you can bring them over.
Right,
You just won't find them in the wild in your game. So that's good. That's not punishing.
right,
But I do like the DLC. I just feel like it could have already been in the game prior to the game launching.
right. I think
I mean,
that's
I don't know anything that's going. Like I'm not in that
yeah,
studio seeing what they're doing. So it could be that they had the ideas but didn't have the time to bring it out.
right,
But I feel like with both DLCs coming out before the game's even a year old, that they definitely had an idea of what they were doing.
right. It's hard to shake that impression, even if it's not true. You
Yeah.
know, I totally understand where you're coming from with that. So
Am I gonna get it? Hell yeah, I'm gonna get it.
yeah,
It's more
yeah, I'm
Pokemon.
still gonna get it, but like that's specifically why I bought the game. I was like, well, maybe I'll buy it, like whatever, and then it's Pokemon, so it never goes on sale.
Yeah.
Um, so I had the cash lying around, and I was like, I'm in the mood for something different than what I've
And
been
didn't
playing. So
Yeah. And what do you're enjoying it, right? Or
yeah,
how do you feel?
it's fine. That's like the more or less how I feel. I don't know. I don't have the expectation. I just certain series I can't have expectations for anymore because if I do, I'm just gonna be disappointed. I'm just gonna set
Yeah.
myself up for disappointment. So like I just don't expect much from Pokemon. The last Pokemon game I played was X and Y. I didn't play Sun and Moon, and I didn't play Ultra Sun.
X1 was good.
Yeah, I liked
I
X and Y.
I'm
So
I'm still disappointed that there's no co-op multiplayer. Like in like the Battle Tower, how that's gone.
right,
Like when I found out about that, I was so angry. I was like, "What? Why?"
yeah,
And like now they're adding like some co-op in one of the DLCs,
right. And
but
again,
that's not what I
it's not
want.
what I wanted. It's not what we used to have.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have some complaints, but it's just I get it from a creative standpoint. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It gets boring.
Yeah,
That's why like even this show, we've reiterated this show like 4 or 5 times, like I get it. But like
but it's still there though. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like
the
Battle Tower is
concept of
still
it is still
there
there,
because you
yeah.
have to go through it to get battle points to buy the competitive item stuff.
Right, right,
Like just add the co-op version so me and my friend aren't sitting there doing two different things at the same time. Like we can just
right,
do it together and have fun.
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of stuff that it's hard as like I don't know, from a creative standpoint, like to not to when you pull back on stuff that used to be there, like, and it's just I don't know. I do feel like we're at the point where like you can build on most of the stuff that like we're not asking you for stuff that wasn't already in the game. We're asking you to just keep the stuff that we already had that we liked, and then
Yeah.
like do whatever. Like if you want to build on it and you want to do other stuff, cool. There's just other stuff that we already had that we liked, and that's why we bought your game in the first place. Like
Yep.
so, it is a. I understand from like a creative aspect, it is a bit of a tightrope to walk, and like this Pokemon definitely has been the most like controversial, I'd say, out of all the ones
Yeah,
I can recall.
but it sold so well though.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying it's a bad game; it's a good game. Like
right.
graphically, it's
Competently made.
great. Great ideas. But they did take away things that we find to be a norm
Yeah.
and enjoyable as well.
Right. And I don't know. That's just like I, I don't see a point in taking away stuff that people already had or things that were like working, you know?
Yeah.
So, but again, we're not in there. We don't really know why or what, you know. I'm sure there was a reason, but like
I wish they would tell us though.
Yeah.
Like tell us why.
Cuz like and games are the only area where that doesn't happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like in movies, they'll just tell you like if you look back at some movies, Alien 3 is one of the ones I use the most because it's the one I know the most about. I wrote a whole paper on it in college. Like, the guy that directed it, David Fincher, he was just like, the movie was fucked up. I did what I could with what I had, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like Fox made me use these sets. We already had these sets. I didn't want to write the story this way and have the story this way, but this is what they made me do and what I had to work with. And we just, I don't know, we don't get that transparency in games. So
yeah,
it's just like, oh, it was a creative decision we made. You're like, okay, but why? Like, we know that. Why? Like, so. But anyways, back to bring this back into Kindred Fates. It is doing different types of things with the monster battling kind of stuff, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up is because it seems like it's doing certain things that like. This is the kind of stuff I see in this game is the kind of stuff I would, if I had expectations for Pokemon, expect from it. You know what I mean? Being able to ride your Pokemon, having a bigger world, it looking prettier, like especially after like, and I know Breath of the Wild's like the scapegoat for Switch, like in terms of like, look what you could do with the Switch, and it came out at launch. But it was also in development for a super long time. It's actually just made on the Wii U and just ported.
We used to be able to ride on Pokemon back in X and Y, Sun and Moon, and even on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee.
Right.
You can ride on any Pokemon.
Right.
And then this comes out and they're like, nope, no riding on Pokemon.
No riding on Pokemon. No following Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like the draw distance is super short. And it's just like, I don't know. It's the Switch is weird, and Game Freak has some weird stuff going on. And like, I understand they work together with the Pokemon Company, or they own the Pokemon Company.
Like, no, they work together with the Pokemon Company.
And the Pokemon Company is their own developer.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all very confusing to me.
It is. There's 3 different companies. It's Game Freak, Nintendo, and Pokemon Company.
Right. I don't know why Nintendo just didn't buy the rights outright, like at the beginning.
Yeah. Like well, they never. They were originally from when Pokemon first came out. It wasn't supposed to go past Gold and Silver.
Right.
Like that was supposed to be it, but then it was doing so well, they were like, we have to make another one.
Yeah, we can't not make these. We're making a shitload of money.
Yeah, so it was supposed to stop after the 2nd generation, but
right, and you could get that feel from that game because it's really ambitious, especially for a Game Boy game.
Oh yeah, Gold and Silver. Oh my god, that game was packed. Being able to go back to like we haven't had a game like that since.
Yeah, and I think that's really the complaint people have with it, with Pokemon. Is it in quotes peaked pretty early on? Like
yeah,
you know,
and we still ask for that. We still ask for the Pokemon. Like I'm gonna bring it back to the same crap I've been saying.
Sure.
Like they don't have to keep making new Pokemon games.
I mean, they
don't. Look, we have Sword and Shield. They can add a DLC in a year and a half that takes you to Kanto, and then you go through there. And then they can make another DLC that takes you to 2nd gen and 3rd gen and 4th gen, and then you just take the train or a plane or boat to all these locations, and it adds to the game.
Right.
And they don't have to do remakes at that point.
Right.
And then they have everything in one game, and then if they want to add new Pokemon, just add a new DLC zone like they do with World of Warcraft.
Right.
You want more content? Oh, there was an island over here hidden by fog.
Right,
no one knew it was there.
Yeah. Well, apparently nobody in Pokemon even knows other regions exist half the time, so
I know
they're not interconnected at all.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things there were two things. That is one of the things I agree with. I think they need to hit a point where like they just go towards a what was not it's not Stadium was the arena battler, correct? And
Yeah, it
Coliseum
was
was the
amazing.
story based game, right? It was like a
Yeah,
more open world RPG kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, I feel like they need another Coliseum, and then they need another Stadium. Like I think you just need a modern day Pokemon Stadium for
Oh my
competitive
god,
people.
I would die for that.
That's what I'm saying
That
for
would.
competitive people. That way, like you could do whatever you want with the main games, and the competitive people would be like, "This is kind of shitty, but I have Pokemon Stadium, so like
Yeah,
I don't care that
and it
much."
has all the Pokemon there, and then you can just
Right.
make your teams
Make your team battle.
and just battle.
Right.
Like you can set the IVs and EVs
Right.
within you know
Reason or
within what
whatever.
it can
Yeah.
within what it can be. Like you can't just set it like some crazy thing. Like keep the same norms. And then and you don't have to go digging for like
Right.
just make a battle like kind of like Pokemon Showdown but just a stadium version.
Basically,
That's
yeah.
all,
That's
that's
basically
all we're
what I
asking
was
for.
saying. Is basically just steal the idea somebody stole from you, and just make money off of it. Like I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't see a like you have two subsets of people that play it. Most adults that play it at this point are competitive, and the other audience you majorly have is children. I think I'm the outlier, whereas I'm an adult and I don't play competitively. You know what I mean?
And
I
if you
would
think about it,
assume.
they always add two things. So you have the Pokemon Adventure game, right? Just the story. Then
Right.
you have the competitive battling scene. And you always have that third thing, which is just so odd, but some people love. Like, for this one, it's the camping thing.
Right.
For Sun and Moon, it was I forgot what it was. For X and Y, it was something with dressing up your Pokemon, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was like
It's
petting your Pokemon or picking
Yeah, yeah.
berries or
There's
something.
always like
Yeah.
some weird little cutesy thing. I think in
Right.
like Black and White it was like some picture taking thing. I don't know.
Probably.
I don't remember. I'm probably very wrong. But there's always some kind of like little competition, like com- like uh like I don't know. It's just always some other weird little niche thing in
Right.
every generation that never really carries on to the next one.
Right.
Um,
It just
so
kind of peters out.
they can make a whole game about that. You know what I mean? Like just
Right.
have its own thing on that if they wanted to.
Right. And that's I don't know. I definitely think stadium is something they need to look into, like a modern day stadium. That way, like
Yeah,
also like not to be a dick, but bring it back to the like what did they call it? Dexit? Is that what they called it? How did they
Dexit.
Dex? What did they refer it to? Where the Pokemon egg like they were making fun of Brexit.
I think it was
Pokemon.
Dexit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Like, the excuse that they used was, okay, it's really hard to model and balance all these Pokemon, right? Like,
Yeah,
so if you just sat down for a year and a half or two, modeled all these Pokemon for current gen, did their movesets, balanced them all out, figured out how it would all work, then you could just be done with it. And you would have a competitive game. Like, I know that's a lot easier said than done. Like, I know that would take a lot of work and it'd be really hard. But if you just focused on the battling aspect of it, you wouldn't have to focus on building an open world. You wouldn't have to focus on building a new story, building a new region, building new Pokemon, building new
yep.
moves, like all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah,
I don't know. And again, you could just update it with DLC every other year when they release new regions. Here's the new Pokemon. It's $20 or something. You know,
yep.
like I would buy that. I'm still not into competitive, but I'm not into competitive because I don't want to raise my Pokemon. I don't want to have to
Yeah.
do IVs. I don't want to have to do move sets. I don't want to.
It's very tedious, and
Right.
like if you can just have that and just set it and then save it aside and let it come down to skill and
Right.
strategy as opposed to time being put in. Like I don't have that time.
Right. I don't have thousands of hours to
We have
breed.
jobs.
Right.
Like I don't want to play a game and it be a chore. Like that's the reason why I stopped playing World of Warcraft. Like as much as I love World of Warcraft,
Sure.
it was a chore at the beginning of every expansion to
Yeah.
get ready. Okay, now I have to level up another 10 levels. And I have to go and start gearing through dungeons for random drops. And when that's done, I have to go through the heroic versions of those dungeons for random drops.
Right.
When that's done, then I get to start finally raiding, which is all I wanted to do in the first place.
Basically. Which is, to be fair, that's the modern day structure for a lot of games, Destiny included. You know,
Yeah.
random drops,
Oh,
random
yeah.
drops, random drops to get to end game content. So,
For more random drops.
yeah, basically. um, so I don't know. It's one of those things where like I wish they would have a discussion with us as an audience and kind of see that that's where we're coming from. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get it. I'm still gonna petition for it. But
Yes, definitely.
anyways, to wrap up the Pokemon and Kindred Fates discussion, the game is slated to their projected release date is going to be June 2023. So
That is
many
so
years.
far away. I just saw that date.
Yep.
I thought it was this June. I
No,
just saw 2023. That is 3 years down the road.
that is a
That
very long
is
time. But I think it's because if you look at it, obviously a lot of like the footage in here is alpha looking. Like there's not a
yeah.
lot of texture and there's like obviously there's a lot of work to be done. Um, and if they're making a big Pokemon like open world, but they want to make it in a style like Legend of Zelda and do balancing and all that, it's gonna take time. So I'm
It
okay with
is.
that. They even have that quote from Miyamoto at the bottom of the game or the bottom of the Kickstarter. Bad, whatever. You put out a bad game, and bad game's bad forever. But a delayed
Yep.
game can be good. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
so I think that's the mindset they're working with, which is nice. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, there's also their Kickstarter is closed, but on the Kickstarter page they have another site called Backer Kit, I guess, that you can pledge to if you're interested. So, uh, one of the things I've been looking forward to, I actually tweeted about this recently before it got official, is the next game in the Dark Pictures anthology, which is from Supermassive Games, who did Until Dawn. Uh, so at the end of Meta in their last game, there was a teaser trailer for the next game, and now Bandai has officially released the trailer for that game, announcing it as Little Hope, and that will be released in the summer of 2020. And it's basically the same trailer as at the end of Manamedon, but it includes the release date. So that's exciting for me.
Nice.
I like
Yep.
these little games. The Manamedon was actually quite a small, enjoyable experience, and I don't know. I never really got into 80s 90s horror, but it is very
Yeah.
much that. So it's got that weird like campiness to it. So
I gotta check that out. I haven't played that.
it's pretty good. It's short. You can probably beat it. I think I beat it in 2 days.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty short. I think it's like a 6 to 8 hour kind of ordeal. So now let's see. The last list in the updates is the very long list of free and new games coming out this month. So let me just get all this sorted. So for Xbox Live Gold, if you have Gold, you will have 4 games total, as you always do. Batman: The Enemy Within, which is the I don't know why Telltale did this, but basically it's the second season of their Batman, but they did it as separate seasons. So technically it's season 1, even though it's like a sequel to the first one. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's free if you want it. I actually think it's Telltale's best game, personally. Um, if I had to have an argument over it and The Wolf Among Us, it would be a very hard debate, I think, for me, because they're both really, really good. It's definitely their most competently made, so I definitely recommend getting it. It's free. Shantae Half Genie is the other game. I haven't played that, so I might have to look into it. Castlevania Lord of Shadows 2, and Sonic Generations. So,
Yeah.
other than Castlevania, I've heard all those games are pretty good. So, it seems like a pretty solid lineup from what I'm seeing here. Do you have any familiarity with Shantae or like Castlevania or Sonic Generations?
Man, I haven't played Castlevania since like the
Yeah,
SNES.
fair enough. I think that's when most
And they were
people.
they were, they were good games.
I I
Um,
don't know anything about these games because like they came out during the time where I stopped playing games, and like nobody talks about them now, so I just assume they're bad. Like,
the Sante Half Genie Hero. Didn't they come out in the Switch at one point? Like one of them.
I think so. There's a bunch of the game. Like
Yeah.
it's done really well. So she has like 2 or 3 of them.
I never played it, and then like I haven't legit played like a real Sonic game, like actually sit down and play Sonic in a very long time. So
So yeah, I will probably pick up Generations and Shantae, and I'll download Batman again for sure because I might. There's an interesting choice you can make throughout that series that totally changes the way the story was being told, and it did take
yeah,
a lot from the first season. Like it pulled a lot of your choices. So that's why I was kind of mad when Telltale died because I was like, fuck, man, I really wanted to see like how that Batman series worked out because they had some interesting plot points going on in there. Um, but yeah, I'll probably pick up these and just kind of run through them. I'll try the Castlevania one, and if it sucks, then I won't have to play it for very long, right? So,
Yep.
let's move to Game Pass. There's no official announcement yet for March's Game Pass games. So what we're actually talking about are first party games, basically. Ori and the Will of the Wisp comes out on the 11th, and Bleeding Edge comes out on the 24th. I'm really excited for Ori, not so much for Bleeding Edge. But you're like an Overwatch guy. Does Bleeding Edge do anything for you? Because I saw it and I was just like, this looks like Microsoft's just trying to make their own Overwatch, and it doesn't look good. Like,
To be honest with you, I don't really care for it. I'm
okay.
like, even with Overwatch right now, I'm still really pissed off about the Overwatch 2 when it's really just a fucking expansion.
Yeah,
excuse my language, but that's really dumb.
It is.
Because you're just confusing people at that point.
Right.
So I'm not happy with any of that.
Fair enough. I don't think
I'm not happy that Overwatch is withholding like heroes they already created to launch it with their second version, which again isn't true. So like the meta in Overwatch right now is so stale and nothing new. Like usually we get a new character every like 5 to 6 months, and it really changes up the competitive scene.
Right.
The competitive scene is so boring right now for me. I've stopped playing for quite a bit, and I put in almost 2,000 hours into this game.
Jeez.
And for me to stop playing, it really says something. Like I stopped investing everything, like time, money.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a good route to go.
Right. So hopefully they learn from that and they don't do an Overwatch 3 like that. That seems... Yeah, because when they announced it, I was like, it's cool that, like, oh, the people are moving forward, but really, like, it is kind of how you're phrasing it, where they're just like, oh, we just basically held off everything we already made and we're going to resell the game. Basically. Yep. So.
Yep.
I also think it's a way for them, because that's coming out this year? Or next year?
They don't even know. They don't even know, man.
Great.
They don't even know. So as of right now, there will be no new heroes until they release the game.
Which means the game's essentially dead until they push that out. Because I'm assuming you're not going to get really much other than balancing patches.
Yep.
At that point. So that's stupid.
It is.
Good to know. I think... See, like, and I don't know. That's why, like... I don't know. I don't really like these types of games because to me they just like that's what ultimately ends up happening. The developer's like, okay, we need to like expand upon this, but we want to make money, and so like they either go one or two ways where they try to nickel and dime you with like skins or whatever, or they're just like, oh, we're gonna put a new version out, and you're just like, the game you've been playing is dead, you know?
Yeah.
So. And that was like one of the problems I had with Destiny, but Destiny 1 was so badly fucked up. Like it had such a bad run throughout. Like I think it ultimately ended up being a fine game at the end. But like when they were like, we're just gonna push everything to Destiny 2, redo a bunch of stuff, I was like, do it because like you need it. Whereas like Overwatch doesn't feel that way, I don't think. And I don't even play the game. But I don't feel like it needs to be burnt down to be built back up.
It doesn't.
So
and that's the thing that they're like, oh, we have new. They're like, if you buy the second version of the game, you'll get the new graphic textures of the heroes when they look perfectly fine as it is.
Right. Also,
so
how
like,
does that work? So like, if you have the new version,
this is why it's an expansion because if you don't buy anything, you still get the heroes.
Right.
You still get to play with people on the second version.
Right.
You just don't get to play any of the PvE stuff.
Right.
That's it. And you don't get the newer hero graphics. Like they don't look redesigned.
The textures are a little bit older.
Yeah.
That's
and if you buy the game, you get all the PvE content. This is a paid PvE patch that they're adding.
Basically.
That's all they're doing. Because if I don't buy anything, I'll play all the new maps still for multiplayer. Yep. I'll still have all the new characters for multiplayer, and I can play with anybody. People that bought that have the second version and people that have the first version. I just don't have any of the PvE stuff.
It's just
any story mode.
Story mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
any of the story mode. So, if you want the story modes and you want the newer looking models, you buy the game. Right. Which is like it's dumb, man.
But realistically, like aren't you going like you're not gonna replay the story mode? I assume. Like I doubt people are
No,
gonna
like
go back
they
and
have
like
like the story
redo it.
mode, and then they have like this other thing called it's kind of like similar to like Diablo Adventure mode, where things are different every time you go in.
Oh, it's like a RNG thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that's cool, for people that like
Right.
that
Right.
stuff. And like I was gonna buy it regardless, but like just don't fucking be dumb with the naming, man. Like just call it what it is. It's a damn expansion. That's over here trying to reinvent.
Yeah.
This isn't. We're trying to reinvent
Overwatch
sequels.
expanded edition or some shit.
Like
Like
when he came out, he said we're trying to reinvent sequels. I'm like, you mean expansions?
yeah,
Because that's everything you just said is an expansion.
we're rebranding as a new
Oh
game.
my goodness.
Yeah, that's always it's always fun, isn't it? I don't know. Activision's really good at finding new ways to piss you off, aren't they? Just
And
like
I'm pretty sure the look he had on his face when he was talking, he looked pissed off.
right. The
So I'm pretty
CEO,
sure he was like, I'm the messenger, and they're gonna
don't
try to
shoot
kill
me.
me.
Yeah, don't shoot
Yeah.
me. It's not my fault. Yeah,
Because some idiot in Activision's headquarters that knows nothing about video games is like, let's
we
just
need
call it number 2.
we have no new releases because we burnt every fucking bridge we had. Do you remember? Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing about Activision, because like I have actual concerns. I'm like, how the fuck is Activision gonna make any money? They don't have any games now. Like, they're gonna push out COD next year, which is gonna probably be a disaster, knowing what we
Yeah.
know about it. They're gonna push out Overwatch 2 at some point. We don't know when, and they're gonna push out Diablo 4 in like 6 years, whenever that gets done.
Yeah.
And otherwise,
Diablo 4 will sell well for
right?
the most part.
But it's
Overwatch 2 is not
Diablo
going to sell
anymore.
well. I don't see Overwatch 2 selling well at all.
I think it'll have a long tail. I think ultimately what you'll see is that when it drops to like $20, then people
Yeah.
that own the first game like you will
Because
probably
in reality, you don't need to buy it for any PvP stuff. And Overwatch is all PvP.
yeah, that's
We
why
bought
people buy it.
Overwatch for the competitive scene.
Right. Like why are you yeah. I don't know. I think the idea is that if they sell it as a new game, basically all of the people who aren't into competitive games will buy it and buy it for the PvE stuff, and then they're hoping will stick around because their friends own it and play the PvP with their friends, and maybe that's where they'll make their money off of microtransactions and stuff.
Yeah.
That's my guess as like their thought process, because like in theory it's not a bad idea, but at the same point like you could probably sell it for like $40, but we know it's not gonna be $40. It's gonna be $60, and there's gonna be like a deluxe edition and like a
Mhm.
collector's edition, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so, like we already know Activision how Activision works. That's I don't know. Like I said, they burnt their bridges with everybody. So Activision's bread and butter was basically pump out Call of Duty and all these licensed games, and then Hasbro and Marvel pulled their licenses from Activision because they kept making shitty games. So like, you know,
And don't forget Skylanders.
yeah, they lost Skylander, or no, they own Skylanders, don't they?
Yeah,
own
but they
Spyro, but they
killed it.
killed
They
it,
ran
yeah.
it into the damn ground for money.
Yeah. So like they don't have the only thing they have is a vast array of IPs that need remasters, which apparently is their plan now. Basically, they're just doing what Disney is doing. And they're like, here is all the old stuff you used to like. It's the exact same. It just looks new.
Yeah.
Like, you know what
Yep.
I mean? So, I mean, if
Who
it
owns
works,
who owns Sly Cooper?
Sony does.
That was such a great game,
Yeah.
man.
I wish they
Like, it
would
looked
make another
so
one,
good.
but yeah,
They re-released it on Vita because I remember buying it.
right. But it's not on
That
PS4
was-
for no reason.
No.
I don't. Sony has a. Me and Sony are beefing about their back catalog. Like, Xbox gets it. Like, Xbox is the only one who gets the back catalog right now. Everybody else is fucking it up, in my opinion. Nintendo's doing a better job than Sony.
Yeah.
Sure. But they're still
Not
not doing it.
perfect. I
Yeah,
know.
There's still no GameCube games. None of them are there for some reason. Like,
N64, dude. Like, just
yeah. Or
N64 is the
N64.
greatest couch co-op or couch gaming experience for like multiplayer games. Like,
Right.
I know a lot of it has to do with titles, but they have a good relationship with Microsoft right now that they can bring over Perfect Dark and
Right.
and stuff like that. Like, I know I'm talking about like the original, not even the remake that's
The
on
remake,
Xbox
yeah.
right now. Even though the remake's better, obviously, but I don't think they would. Well, who knows? Actually, We do have some of those Xbox games on Switch now, so it would be pretty cool to get it.
Right, and
But at the same
Xbox
time, I do like,
is willing to do so. So
yeah, yeah. I I don't know. They can do so much more.
right. Backwards compatibility is going to be a big issue going forward. I know like recently it hasn't been, but like now people have spent so much money on current gen that they're like I have like $400 or $500 worth of games at least. Like I spend more than that for sure, but like your average person has like, you know, probably $1,000, $1,500 in games on on their systems. Like they don't want them to just disappear. So you
I'm
got
kind of worried about that with the Switch because
yeah, I am too.
I have never really gone too crazy with consoles. Because I only bought like, let's say with all the consoles, I might have bought like maybe 20 games a piece, right?
Okay,
Something like that.
that's not too bad.
I've spent well over 2,500 in games for the Switch,
Yep, I understand
maybe
that.
more.
Right, like that's your primary outside of your PC because you play primarily on
Yeah,
PC from
yeah.
what I know, and so like I get that, but because so my games are more spread out for sure. So like it was nice when Xbox was like, yeah, all your stuff from Xbox is carrying over. I'm like, cool, and Sony was like, we're trying apparently to maybe get PS4 games to run on PS5. I'm like, how the fuck? How are you not gonna get PS4 games to work? Like I understand
I know.
PS3 or like PS2, but like the same people that made the PS4 are making the PS5. Like Xbox was like, here, it's done. Actually, guess what else? Also we did. We just figured out a way to make 360 games work. How? We just sat down and figured it out. Like
Not only that, they already have Xbox Series X consoles playing with Xbox One consoles,
right.
like, and no one knew.
Yeah, exactly. They've already been out. They're already out in the wild or whatever. So
Yeah,
like, you know, whereas like as far as I know nobody even knows anything about PlayStation 5. So, and we know nothing about Nintendo's plans. And like at this point, the Switch is 3 years old this month, right?
oh my God, the third. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God, I forgot
yeah,
about that
the
on
Switch will be
Tuesday.
the Switch will be 3 years old, and they're about to compete against next gen systems next year. This year, I
Yep.
guess technically at the end. So like,
Yeah.
if they want to keep getting ports, you know, I'm not saying they need to do it next year, but like probably by like 2022, probably need to
They got to do it soon. I
make a
mean,
new Switch or an
yeah,
upgrade.
and like, yeah, just upgrade it.
So
Like 1080p screen on the go. You know what I mean? Like our
right,
cell phones are clearly doing more than that.
we're pushing 4K
Um,
on a lot of them at this point.
yeah, I know. So like, if we
So
can get 1080p screens on the go, better battery life.
right,
That's all I'm really asking for, I guess.
pretty
Now that I
much,
think
yeah, right.
about it.
Like
Besides their stupid software needs to get better.
yeah, the Switch OS kind of sucks.
It
Uh,
does. It's garbage, man. Like we need a huge new it was a decent OS when it first came out.
yeah,
We're 3 years in.
and there's
Microsoft
like
changes their OS
no major
like
updates.
every 6 weeks. It seems like.
Yeah, and there's no folders. I think that's like my biggest complaint is there's no folders
No
like on Switch,
folders.
and I kind of need them. Like
No themes. No
yeah,
party chat.
themes sucks, man. Like why are there no themes? Like you
Even
use
the
so much.
Vita had it, dude.
Yeah, the Vita
The
had it.
Vita had folders, wallpapers, party chat. I
Yep.
love the Vita.
Yeah, the Vita was
Like
overrated.
it was so good. Like
Sony
Sony
was
F the Vita with the memory cards.
for sure.
Period. That's what it came
Yeah,
down to.
yeah. Period.
It was a beautiful console. They had an AT&T 3G version.
Yep.
Like, come on, man.
The Vita
I
was.
bought two Vitas in my lifetime.
I owned one. I owned the updated version, not the OLED one. The last one they put out.
It was
It was good. It was a good system overall. I kind of hated the joysticks, but like everything else on it was pretty
yeah. The
solid.
joysticks could have been better.
That
But
back
it
touch
was
was kind of useless too. But
yeah. That was
cool
that was
idea.
that made the console. Yeah, that was good for like 3 or 4 games.
Right.
That made the console unnecessarily more expensive.
Yeah. Sony does that Nintendo thing where they just like put unnecessary shit in their consoles and are like, you have to use this. Like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
eventually people are like, no, we're not doing that. And Sony just budges, whereas Nintendo's like, no, fuck you, you're gonna use it. Like,
Yeah.
so,
I wish Sony would make another handheld.
yeah, I
Like
do
learn from
too,
the
but
mistakes that you made, and just make like oh my god, like the Vita. It's still such a good system in Japan.
yeah,
They're
it
still
still
selling
sells
them.
well, yeah. Here's the thing.
And
In theory, if Sony was like, okay, here's PS5, theoretically, here's something that's more compatible. It's not exactly a Switch, but it's similar to the Switch, but it plays your PS4 games. I'd be like, okay, fuck it, yeah, all right,
yeah,
like I'm down. Let's do that. You know, but I have no idea what Sony's thinking because they got all sorts of weird, crazy shit going on with. There's rumors about we covered this last week, I think, with the controller, where the controller wants to like measure your sweat. Like they did a patent for it.
yeah, that was so weird. Like,
Yeah.
what's the purpose of that, man?
So we actually had an interesting discussion on it. It would be to change difficulty. So like if you're sweating a lot and you're struggling or whatever, like it would lower the difficulty for you. Like the AI would adjust or whatever.
Yeah, I
That's the idea.
guess. Oh,
But like
man,
nobody's gonna do that. No developer's gonna spend the time.
if that were the
figure that
case,
out.
I have a friend. He's moved, but when we were in high school, this kid had to play with like his shirt covering the controller because his hands just
Profusely.
sweat.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I
no matter
sweat
what he was doing, like he could just be standing there and he was dripping sweat from his hand.
Yep, I feel that. I'm not that bad. I'm still pretty bad. My hands sweat
Like,
really bad.
it was gross.
Yeah. So like
So it wouldn't work well for him.
exactly.
He's like,
That was
"Why
my
am I-"
concern too. Is like
Why is the game playing itself? It feels
Yeah.
sorry for me.
basically I have to play with gloves now. Like,
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, we derailed pretty hard, so let me get us back on track.
Yeah.
But we're having a good discussion, so I'm trying to let stuff play out more naturally on the shows. But here's the rest of your free stuff. Everybody on the PlayStation side can shut the fuck up because they're getting a good game finally. Shadow of the Colossus and Sonic Forces are the free games this month. So now you can all shut up. I've played. Here's the thing with Shadow of the Colossus. I played it, and I guess as a PS2 game, I can understand why people like have admiration for it. But it just gets really boring. If I'm gonna be honest
Yeah.
with you, like it's fun. The bosses are cool. The idea is cool, but the control scheme does not hold up at all. Like
Yeah.
it needed they needed to redo the control scheme for sure, or at least offer a remastered version or whatever. You know what I mean? Like a remastered
Yeah, definitely.
version. So,
It
but
was a great game.
yeah, overall, I still think it's enjoyable. It's huge. It's massive for a PS2 game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and Sonic Forces got painted pretty badly, so I'm interested in playing that because I haven't played a modern Sonic game other than Mania. Ooh.
Mania was cool.
Yeah, Mania's good. That one that came out on the GameCube with the little like blue guys was the last time I played a Sonic game, like a modern 3D Sonic game.
Okay.
And I like that one a lot. It's not good from what I recall, but I had fun with it. So, you know. But yeah, that's all the updates, free stuff you're getting this month. And then we only have 2 big pieces of news. So I'm sure we'll actually, this first one I think is the one we'll have the most discussion about. So if you're ready.
Yes. So GDC gets delayed due to companies pulling out over concerns of the coronavirus. At the same time, companies pull out during the week. GDC Game Developers Conference has decided to delay the conference until summer in hopes that the global concern will have passed by that time. Many are concerned over being around large groups of civilians from different countries, as that is how the virus has been spreading thus far.
Right. So I try to avoid this type of news typically, but yeah, we're about to go into convention season. So this is kind of a big deal.
I mean, everything from conventions to manufacturing, like
Right.
it is putting halts on countries. Like
Right.
people are getting their groceries delivered to them. No one wants to go out. Look, I'm keeping an eye on this because once I see it hit Florida, I'm like stocking up.
Right.
And I may just like not go into work because I'm sorry, like my profession
Right.
is riddled with germs, and I'm
Was it?
not.
There was
like-
a teacher that got it recently.
Yeah, I'm not about that
Yeah.
at all.
So like, yeah, I don't blame you at all.
So
It's scary.
as
I'm
it
not-
is, I mean, like
I don't want to fearmonger, but at the same point, like I'm trying to be realistic with people. Like,
yeah, like it's a common cold virus,
right.
but at the rate that you develop pneumonia it's very accelerated.
Right.
It's accelerated rate that you develop pneumonia.
And
So
that's
like many of
what
the
it is.
kids and younger people that get it are fine. Like a baby
Right.
was born into it. It was passed down vertically. The baby's
Wow.
fine, so very little symptoms.
Right.
A 6-month-old, I think the baby's like maybe 9 months now. nothing wrong with the baby, but the baby did
Yeah.
have it. And a lot of younger kids and younger adults that don't have their immune system's
Yeah.
compromised by other viruses or diseases,
Right.
they do pretty well. They just have like a cold. Um, Now the older people that are like 45 and older, or anyone that has like like diseases or concerns with their immune system, like cancer, like they're fighting off something else major, they're the ones that are kind of passing away from it.
Right.
Um, so that's been the problem. Like a lot of elderly people are getting
Right.
it and passing away. And I'm going to say not a lot of young people. One of the doctors that were in Japan, in China, treating
Right.
that
He
got it
got
from
it. That got
treating.
sick. Yeah.
She was, I think, in her early 40s, maybe late 30s,
Right.
in relative good health. But she ended up, passing
Right.
because of the virus also.
Well,
So it's
pneumonia is
like,
crazy strong. Like,
yeah, like if you don't get it taken care of,
it will kill
it's
you.
not
Like,
good. Yeah,
I've
yeah,
had it, so like, I know it fucking sucks.
yes,
Yeah, basically you just suffocate to
yeah,
death. So
yep,
yeah, if you're not feeling well, just go to the damn doctor. Like,
yes, for sure. Like any symptoms, go in and
just get it sorted.
you
Because
know,
like, if you're under like 60, typically you will recover from this and be just fine. So,
yeah, yeah.
but
But the thing is, you don't want to be, like that's the main thing. Like, yeah, like, a kid gets it, they're gonna be, relatively all right,
right,
but you don't want them to be passing it along to other people.
right.
Um,
So if your kid's sick, don't send them to freaking school.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Right.
No,
This
but you
is
know
a
what?
problem that just
You know.
permeates the U.S. workforce. I have colleagues
Oh
that come
yeah.
in that are sick all the time, and I'm like, dude, why are you here? Go home.
Yep.
Like,
A bit of a concern came up, and I haven't seen it since the first time I seen the article. They were saying that people that had the coronavirus, and this happened in China,
mhm.
that got through it,
Yeah.
they had a higher chance of getting it again.
Yep.
And then when they did, they were dying of heart failure.
Huh. That's very weird. But
It
yeah, I
was
had heard
odd,
about the
but
recontaminated
but
rate.
I haven't heard anything else about that since. Like it was a one article I read,
Right.
but then they haven't said much about it afterward. It was very weird.
Right. Because there was,
Um,
I've been hearing that as well. So like, if you get it, you can get recontaminated, and it's like,
and that's so odd because normally when you get a virus, your body now has antibodies for it, and
right,
the second time you get it, if you even do get it, it will be with you far less than it was the first time.
right, and usually the
Before it,
symptoms will be less as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
before it to be worse and then cause heart failure is very concerning.
Hmm. I mean, I'm not whatever, a microbiologist or whatever, but on my very limited understanding of science and stuff like that indicates that it's just like mutating,
Yeah, it's mutating. Yeah,
like just
and the second time
quickly,
you get
like
it,
the
it's not the
code.
same.
Yeah, exactly. So, which it is concerning again. So like we're saying, like, I don't know. I only really bring it up because of the conference stuff. Like PAX East is also happening this week,
I
and like,
know.
and I'm
And
like,
then
I
in
don't
that
know if that'll
area,
be
there's
fun.
there's been at least one or two cases
Right.
in that area.
And
Not
like,
to mention anyone flying.
I've been to Boston. Like, Boston is very heavily populated, especially in the downtown area. I've been to PAX East. Like where they hold that convention is like in downtown, and it's just really highly populated on there. There's a lot of people there, and now it's really cold there. So like a lot of
And
people
that's
are,
what viruses love.
yeah, and so you're just like kind of mixing up the perfect storm in that area where like up north it's the middle of winter, it's cold, you have people from all over the place coming in, and so that like I don't know, like what, yeah, like I said, when Sony was like, we're gonna not go to PAX East or GDC, I was like, that's a good idea, you should probably not do that. Like,
Yep.
so, and I don't, like, I know it's rough, like if you had bought tickets or whatever to PAX and then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do, they're not gonna refund me, like I get that, but at the same point, like, I'm not trying to die either. So like,
Yeah.
it's just not a risk I want to take. So
Yep.
teach their own, but try to not get anybody sick. Try to keep yourself healthy. That's, I mean, because we were talking about beforehand, and you wanted to specifically talk about E3.
Yes.
And so like we'll have to see, like, because I don't know, the things I've heard and the things I've seen so far on the projections of this stuff is that the virus is the theory is that the virus will be around for at least a year, like a full calendar year, like before it
That
like
sucks.
falls out of being like a not a
As
pandemic,
contagious as it is.
yeah, but being like as spreading as quickly as it is, and we're
Yeah.
still. I think they said they're pretty far off on a vaccine, like for it.
Well, yes and no, because I keep hearing different stories.
Right.
Like a place in California said that they already had a vaccine and they were a few months away from human trials.
Right.
That they were able to, figure it out within hours of having the virus DNA. And then, a couple other places, like I know in the Philippines, not in the Philippines, another country
Sure.
in Southeast Asia, an elderly woman, she was like 78, 80, had gotten coronavirus, damn near dead, bedridden. The doctor had given her a cocktail of an HIV virus medication as well as a flu virus medication. And within 2 days, she was symptom free and like good to go. So like there's little things that countries are doing to help battle these symptoms.
Right.
But I don't foresee a vaccine not being done within like less than 6 months. Like I can see it being
Right.
I can see us having a vaccine in less than 6 months.
The only things I had heard was that I get specifically in the U.S. due to like the timing for trials, that's what was gonna take so long.
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah,
that,
they
like,
definitely have
human
to test that.
trials take forever.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
like I'm sorry, I guess maybe I should have rephrased it. My understanding is that by the time I can go to whatever Walgreens or CVS and get a coronavirus vaccine, like it's gonna be like roughly a year.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, that's I should have specified, I think, a bit more, because I definitely had heard this similar things where like obviously they're already testing and they're trying to get this all sorted. Obviously, like for China, it's a really big deal. It's hurting their economy and all that. Especially because I guess Wuhan is like a central hub for that area, so like a lot of stuff is made and shipped out of that area. Um, I think Kevin even sent us that he got a package from Wuhan recently. Like, and we're like,
Ooh,
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
about
scary.
that. Yeah, maybe just send it back.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can scroll through and find it real quick because it was a while ago. And Daryl sends us a million pictures a day for impressions and stories and all that. Maybe I can find it. I don't know. I think Kevin got banned on Facebook again, so I might not be able to find it.
What is he getting banned for?
I don't know, dude. I think he memed his way into a ban again.
Oh my gosh.
Because I asked him about it. I was like, "Are you still banned?" And he like hit us up on Discord, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Facebook banned." And I was like, "God damn it, dude! Like, what did you do?" I can't find the photo right now, but I swear he sent us something with it. But anyways, yeah, just I don't know. Wash your hands, wear masks if you're in heavily populated areas. Try not to get sick, and if you do, just go to the doctor. I mean, that's all you can hope for at this point. But this thing's not nearly as scary as everybody makes it out to be. If you're not old, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, like it's not like the Spanish flu that killed like millions of people.
Yeah.
It could turn out to be like that if we are not cautious as to what we're doing.
Right, exactly.
But it shouldn't turn out to be like that.
Right. We got modern medicine now.
It does show though that these countries, us included, we're not prepared for this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the amount of money we have in technology, we have to do better. It's just ridiculous.
Agree on that for sure. Because realistically, if this thing was something stronger, like it could poof us all out. Pretty.
Oh
quick.
yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you had seen. It wasn't a joke article. It's like a real thing. Pandemic, the mobile game, got banned in China.
Oh wow.
So, I think because they updated something with coronavirus in it. I think that's what they did, and so they just like banned the game.
It's countries need to be more accountable for.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, China was declining help from the World Health Organization.
Right, and denying its existence for a while, and it's a disaster.
And then their doctors were getting overwhelmed. Like, I can only imagine how hellish it was in those hospitals to have people.
Right.
And like there was queues outside of the hospital to be seen. And then these doctors aren't able to get rest because there's not enough doctors, and you have doctors dying because of the virus. Like it's
They're getting sick.
We have to do better.
I
Like
agree.
everyone has to do better as if we
As
want to
global
continue living on
society,
this
yeah,
planet. Yeah, for real.
yeah.
Like
Oh, we're gonna
it's a
get
joke
ourselves all killed.
that we put so many what the word I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. We're all one species.
Yeah, more or
But we
less.
subcategorize ourselves so many different times in so many
Right.
different ways
Different little
that
boxes.
we, between war and like all this other nonsense, like
Yep.
just we're all one species.
We gotta make sure
Get
we
get
at
it
least live
together and
as a
thrive as
species.
one unit, man.
Right. Maybe one day we will indeed have the Space Federation and we can go to space and maybe not oppress other races of species. um,
Yeah, it's
but
gonna be oppression at all.
yeah,
Crazy.
maybe we could do that one day. But anyways, yeah, let's try not to kill ourselves first. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, just I don't know. Keep that in mind. That's the only reason I really wanted to bring it up. We have to keep bringing it up because unfortunately it is affecting things like you said with production. Like there's concern that next gen might get delayed because of this actually, because of
it's
the
very possible.
Foxconn and all that. So yeah, if next gen gets pushed out to 2021, don't be surprised. But we can move on to happier stuff that's not so fucking depressing. Um,
Yes.
so this is a story that's kind of near and dear to me because there's a lot of stuff in here that I enjoyed as a child. So let's go through. Platinum Games has expanded, and it wants to make more quote fun games. Director Hideki Kamiya, if you're unfamiliar, he's also famously known for banning people or blocking people on Twitter. I don't know why. It's like a game they play with him, just how finding out what ways to get blocked by him. And they don't like
Hmm.
do mean stuff. They'll just be like, "Hi, I love your games." Blocked. Like, you know what
Oh
I mean?
my
It
god.
just blocks like everybody. Uh, anyways, he spoke with IGN regarding the company's current plans. And so they were saying that in their current they currently have a Tokyo location where they're working on stuff, but they also plan on opening. I think they plan on opening a new location. So they have 240 people right now, and they want to add 100 more. Platinum's like one of the
Mhm.
biggest independent developers out there right now. They're
Yeah,
huge.
they are definitely doing well.
So yeah, and their games are selling well. Like even if they miss a game, like in terms of like quality, like they still have so many games that they're working on or putting out that like we everybody knows that like when you play platinum games, there's a chance that it's a miss, you know. But
Yeah.
if it's a hit, it's gonna be good. So, anyways, so they also discussed about how they want to work on different projects, specifically the Tokyo studio, the bigger one, on games like live service games. Uh, I have my concerns about live service games, so I don't know
As
if
much
that's
as I love them, I do have concerns as well.
yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily something you want to invest in. Um, there was a teaser trailer one, so this all happened because they were making a teaser trailer for their new project. Um, and there's just they got a lot of stuff going on right now. From what they've said, they got 3 games in development. One is a new IP they're publishing, and then 2 are games that they're just working on with I think other partners. Um, so obviously the biggest reason they want to expand is to make more games, have more partnerships, things like that. And then later on in the week, they actually did talk about Kamiya specifically said that he wanted to work with Capcom again and other companies like Microsoft to revitalize games that got shut down or just didn't get seen through, like Scalebound and Okami and Beautiful Joe. Um,
Yeah.
so like all those like weird types of games that they're known for making. Um, so all that is really excited me because I didn't even know that he had started Okami 2. I guess they had started Okami 2, but then it got scrapped.
Yep.
And then they made the DS or whatever game. Um, and like it's a good game or whatever. The original is a really good game, so that's why and they remastered it. So when they remastered it, I was hoping that like enough people will have bought it that like Capcom can justify it. Plus they're in that mood of like let's remaster all of our old shit, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's I don't know. Do you have any experience with those older IPs, or is it just like I don't know? Like Modern Platinum is what most people know them for now, like Bayonetta
Yeah, I
3.
mean, I've seen the games. I didn't personally play them.
Okay, fair enough.
Nowadays, I am playing more of their games. Just because, like, I spent like 15 years on World of Warcraft, man.
Right.
Like, it was on World of Warcraft and Halo, and that was it.
Fair enough. Got to branch out a little bit, I guess. So, cause I didn't really, I don't know. I always played like smaller stuff like that, and I remember Okami being the first game I played that was cell shaded.
Yeah,
Um, and Beautiful Joe is cell shaded as well. Um, and so I don't know, and they're not even like they're not ported or whatever. So like, Beautiful Joe is just like dead basically, which sucks. Cause I remember liking that game.
that was a good game.
So I don't know. I hope Capcom gets in the mood where they're just like, all right, let's like go back, look at some of these games, maybe bring some of them forward or whatever. Like,
And they have done that with the Mega Man collections.
right? That's what I'm saying. So I don't see why they can't. Um, it just seems like some of these titles they don't want to dip back into. It seems I'm kind of just going through like some images now on Google, and it looks like they did that thing where they like tiptoed back into it, but they were like, here's like a DS game we kind of just like made and put out, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Capcom has great IPs. Platinum's worked on a lot of really good games. They're working on Bayonetta 3, right? Or no?
What happened?
They're working on Bayonetta 3, aren't they?
Yes, yes, yes,
So,
yes.
um, yeah, there's just like I don't know. There's a ton of stuff going on. In terms of stuff with Platinum, in terms of stuff with who they work with. And so just like I don't know. I'm excited to kind of see what's up with them and what happens going forward. Their new project they announced is super fucking weird. I don't know if you've seen the images from it. It's called Project A Go Go. And it kind of looks like it's very traditional Japanese. They said it's inspired by Ultraman, but it kind of reminds me of like Power Rangers, Godzilla. Like I know Ultraman is kind of like the OG of that, at least in Japan.
Wow.
But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it looks cool. So I don't know. The Platinum Games is a weird thing. So hopefully they can pull out some new stuff that's pretty cool. So, but that's really all I got in terms of the show. Unless you have anything else you want to add on.
No, no, this was a great time.
Indeed, it was a bit of a meaty one, but I think you guys we got a lot in there. That's a lot of fun. So we had good discussions, all that. So until next time, yeah, let me get the closer because Chris always busts my balls about being the worst person on the team about closing shows out. So I'm just gonna read his script. Try to check us out at least once a week, as that is how often we try to do this. You might like what you find. I'm Ambassador Michael.
And I'm Ambassador Jason.
And we will see you all next time. Probably Wednesday for streams. Or next Sunday or Monday when we record the show. We'll have to see. Anyways,
Definitely.
goodbye.
Bye, guys.